Drugs are so appealing that abusers will stop at nothing to get them. Incurable addictions have built a powerful worldwide industry. And at what cost?
Not only do drugs often destroy those who use and abuse, but the trade has fueled corruption, organized crime, gang activity, and money laundering.
And little Jamaica has become a major player. Drugs and the criminal connection. Our topic tonight on CS311.
Crime Stop Jamaica and National Bakery, in association with TVJ and our sponsors, Guardsman, Home and Things, Careers Jamaica, Grace Kennedy, Progressive Grocers and Musson Foundation present CS311 with Deirdre Dixon and Leroy Hall.
Jamaica's location has always made it a favorite, first for pirates and later for immigrants, shipping lines, tourists, and now for drug traffickers.
We are the largest Caribbean exporter of marijuana to the US and now a major route for the movement of cocaine and other synthetic drugs.
To understand Jamaica's role in the international drug trade, we spoke to Inspector Sheldon Coulson of the Narcotics Division of the Police Force.
When we talk about drugs coming into Jamaica, we are looking at cocaine. We do not produce it. So where ganja is concerned, we export that. So the cocaine comes into Jamaica various means. We have the legitimate ports of entry, and then we have the illegal ports of entry. And so large amount of cocaine comes in via large vessels and go-fast boats. Then you have smaller quantities that are taken into the country by couriers, that is individuals, and that comes in various means. It could be body packers, comes in body cavity, swallowers, luggage, and also you have the courier services, postal services. Now when it gets here, there's really no market for cocaine in Jamaica, so it has to leave. And so a small portion of that is taken out and supplied to the user. The majority of that is then exported to other countries. And so, for example, crack is a derivative from cocaine. And so it is broken down into that and then sold on the streets. Small quantities, small amount of money, but it adds up. The JTF is concerned about the impact of drug trafficking in our country, but also we are concerned about the criminal side, how it affects our country, and also about the user. In a broad sense, drug trafficking affects the society. It increases our homicide rates, it destroys family, it damages life, and it destroys the youth. And so, for example, when a youth is convicted for drug trafficking, it affects his ability to be gainfully employed. He now has a criminal record. On the user side, it is going to destroy your life just the same. It is going to destroy your family, right? And it's going to have an impact on the economics of the country, because additional money will have to be found to treat these individuals. And so as a proactive measure, what we have done is to go out there and interface with the public. We have forged a partnership with the National Council on Drug Abuse. We have gone into the schools. We have visited the youth clubs. So anywhere we believe there's an opportunity for us to tell people about the risk of getting involved in drug trafficking on the user side and on the criminal side. But for those who we have not yet reached, they can call us and we will come to them. Every opportunity that presents itself for us to speak to any individual or groups or organizations about the impact that drugs can have on our country and individuals, we seize that opportunity.
Interesting interview. How do you control an industry built on something as powerful as addiction? More on drugs in a moment. First, our featured crime.
It was Boxing Day, 2017, and we can only imagine that Odain Fowler must have still been in high spirits after leaving a get-together with friends.
But not for long. As he walked, something or someone would stop him in his tracks.
This is Old Harbour, St. Catherine, a busy residential town located in the southwest corner of the parish. It was here on East Street, just after 2 a.m. on the morning of December 26, 2017, that Odain Fowler's life was taken. A friend came to his aid and helped him to the Old Harbour police station. Odain Fowler was taken to the Spanish Town Hospital, where he succumbed to his injuries.
The joyful sounds of the Christmas celebrations continued as the life of another young Jamaican ended through violence. Another family was left to grieve.
Let I tell you something, his dream was coming to England to live with us. But when I get my paper sorted out, he have passed the hay. I couldn't file for him. I bought a house in New Harbour for him and the other brother, well furnished, everything to their comfort. He was a good lad because he tried for himself. I sent him to like status goaling, and after I finished status goaling, I sent him to the heart to do in plumbing. I'm so devastated. You know, from this thing happen. Every day, every night before I go to my bed, I think, every morning I wake up, I think about it. It's horrible. I wouldn't want an ex-mother to go through what I'm going through. It's not nice. I have 4 of the children living with me, and I get so overprotected of them. If certain times they don't come in, I don't hear from them, I'm on edge. I don't believe in jungle justice. I have so many questions. And if the mother or the parents of those killers, you know that your son have taken the life of another mother's son, encourage them to give themselves in. I don't even want those killers to die. I just want to face them. I just want to look into their eyes. There's so many questions I want to ask them. Why? I'm just begging and pleading to them. Just hand yourself in, please.
Odain Fowler was ambushed on a main street in the heart of a busy town. Could it be that no one saw or knows anything? Hardly likely.
Crime Stop is offering a $100,000 reward for information leading to the charge of those responsible for this crime. The number to call is 311.
What would you say is the most widely used and abused drug in Jamaica? Keep listening to get the answer.
Did you know? Brought to you by Carreras Jamaica. The National Council on Drug Abuse says alcohol is the most widely used drug in Jamaica. 1 in 6 males and 1 in 17 females admitted driving under the influence of alcohol or illegal drugs in the past year. 1 in 3 males reported binge drinking. Alcohol abuse has been linked to more than 200 different health conditions and is a major factor in road fatalities, violence, domestic abuse, and even sexual dysfunction. Marijuana, ganja, still remains popular. Despite recent changes to the law, those found in possession of more than 2 ounces of this substance can still be arrested. You can still be charged, tried, and if found guilty, sentenced to a fine, imprisonment, or both. The 2017 School Health Survey, focusing on students aged 13 to 17, found that 76% had used some form of drug. Of those, 45% had consumed alcohol, 18% had used tobacco, and 13% of them had smoked marijuana. Some teenagers will do anything to get a high. Cough syrups, alcohol-laced gummy bears, and ganja disguised in e-cigarettes are the latest choices for stress relief. And what about lean, also known as scissorp, an addictive cocktail mixed from legal prescription cough syrups and soda? This extremely dangerous substance has killed many in the US and is now becoming a fad with Jamaican teens. In a world that is increasingly under the influence, the youngest in our society are the most at risk.
It's heartbreaking to think of a loved one disappearing. How closely do you look at the faces of the people reported missing? Please pay attention and help if you can.
Missing, brought to you by Progressive Grocers. An Ananda alert had been activated for then 15-year-old Cindy Deering of the SOS Children's Village, Stony Hill, St. Andrew. She has been missing since Tuesday, March 15, 2016. She's of dark complexion, slim build, and is about 168 centimeters or 5 feet 6 inches tall. Cindy Deering was last seen at the home wearing a white shirt, a plaid skirt, and a pair of brown shoes. 60-year-old Robert Watson of Bel Air, Runaway Bay, St. Anne, has been missing since Tuesday, March 6, 2018. He is of dark complexion, slim build, and is about 183 centimeters tall. Reports are that Watson was last seen at his sister's home at 4:20 p.m., wearing a green t-shirt, black shorts, and slippers. He has not been seen or heard from since. 29-year-old Dwayne Thomas, a labourer of Oldgate Avenue, Havendale, St. Andrew, has been missing since April 2018. He is of brown complexion, slim build, and 165 centimeters tall. He has scars on his forehead and on the left side of his head. Mr. Dwayne Thomas was last seen in his community sometime in April this year. Trisha Lee Winter, a 29-year-old chef based in Montego Bay, St. James, has been missing since Saturday, October 13, 2018. She is of dark complexion, stout build, and 165 centimeters tall. Trisha Lee Winter was last seen in Montego Bay town.
Remember, anything you know could make a difference.
Drive 10 minutes on a Jamaican road and you begin to wonder if everyone out there is under the influence. But to get a more scientific opinion on substance use and abuse in Jamaica, we spoke to consultant psychiatrist Dr. Jeffrey Walcott.
In my practice as a psychiatrist, there are the two variables as to the factors driving young people towards drug abuse and the impact that you see in these persons who are already dependent or abusing drugs. You really have to weigh where you put most of your effort. And for me, the most important thing would be identifying and ameliorating the risk factors. Clinicians will tell you that it's far easier and more effective to prevent an illness than it is to treat it. And having said that, we still have to pay attention to dealing with the problems that exist. But more emphasis needs to be placed on prevention in terms of psychoeducating our children on the ills of substance abuse and focusing on identifying the risk factors and addressing them early so that we don't have to deal with the problems later on. The prevalence of substance abuse is correlated with the perception of safety of the drug. So if people think that the drugs are relatively safe or that most people can use it without an effect, then you will see a higher prevalence of usage. What we can do is bolster the education program in our young children as the deleterious effect of most of these substances on their physical health in the short term as well as the long term, so that they truly understand the risks that these substances have on them. Substance abuse disorder by itself is a mental illness, and it has specific connotations, specific diagnostic criteria that have to do with the person, not necessarily the substances. 15 to 25-year-old age range is what we recognize as the high-risk age range for numerous impulsive behavioral patterns. That includes substance abuse, includes sexual activity, it includes violence. Over the past 20 or 30 years, the drug scene in Jamaica has remained relatively stable. Alcohol is the most prevalent substance of abuse, followed by cigarettes and then by cannabis. Drugs like cocaine, which have been here since the 80s, have not really caught on in the mainstream, and all the other designer drugs like ecstasy, which is the amphetamines, have really not gotten a hold in our culture. And so our drug problem really is focused on identifying the at-risk persons and focus on treating the behavior. So when we speak about substance abuse, we've identified the issue of the risk factors and also the impact on the individual, but I want us to also look at the impact on the society. For example, our country has a problem with violence, and we know from the data that alcohol abuse, for instance, has a high correlation with issues of domestic violence. Domestic violence can be either spousal abuse or child abuse. And there's a strong correlation between alcohol use and suicide. And we really need to, A, focus on the treatment facilities and getting people into treatment for alcohol dependency, as well as the issue of prevention and early detection of alcohol abuse problems. And I think that will go a far way in addressing our substance abuse problem, but also a lot of our crime and violence issues that we have dealing with in this country.
Thank you, Dr. Walcott. Substance abuse is a serious issue that demands our attention, especially as so many of our young people fall under its spell. Next up, watch that scam.
SUV that I could probably finally afford? Oh my. Oh, and the inside is so clean. I wonder how much they want for it. Oh goodness, it is so nice. Big enough for my business.
Glory, sister. Are you interested in my car?
Oh yes, very much.
Wonderful. I must tell you, everything works perfectly. Just service the engine, brand new tires and the battery.
How is the AC?
Cool like Alaska.
So what's the price?
Well, the spirit beckons me to tell you $1.5 million.
I don't have that kind of money.
I tell you what, I will take away the one and the point and you can give me the difference.
$500,000. I can do that.
How soon can you come up with the money?
I can go to the bank right now and get you a banker's draft, a manager's check.
Hallelujah, sister. I'm afraid that with this kind of price, it has to be in cash.
Okay. How soon can we get the documents transferred?
As soon as you want. What I can do, I can let you drive away the car with you today on my insurance. And then we can take care of all the paperwork later on down the line. How does that sound?
Wonderful. That's great. Thank you. Thank you. I wonder why they pull me over now. I don't... Good afternoon, officer.
Afternoon, ma'am.
Is there a problem?
Problem?
I wasn't speeding.
Just a spot check, ma'am. Can I see your documents, please?
Oh, certainly. Here.
Thank you. Ma'am?
Yes.
This vehicle has been reported stolen. Step out of the car.
Oh, no.
Stolen vehicle. Step out of the car, ma'am.
But I just bought the car from a pastor. Oh.
Buying a car can be exciting, but you must be careful. Ask questions. Is the seller the registered owner? If not, does he have permission to sell? Check the documents. Are they originals? Make sure the chassis number and engine numbers match. Never pay in cash. Instead, pay by manager's check or bank transfer. I know everything will glitter a gold. Don't be scammed.
With every criminal that remains free, someone else is at risk. The following men are wanted by the police. Do you know how to find them?
Marlon Barnett, otherwise called Shortman of Gregory Park, Portmore, St. Catherine, is wanted for questioning in connection to charges of shooting, wounding with intent, and illegal possession of a firearm, all related to a police-involved incident in Caymanas Garden, St. Catherine, on Thursday, February 13, 2015. Marlon Barnett is considered armed and dangerous. Ricardo Sutherland, otherwise called Brown Man, is wanted for shooting with intent for an incident which transpired in Lincoln District, Manchester on July 23, 2016 at 9 p.m. There was a dispute over money. Ricardo Sutherland left and returned with a gun. He opened fire. His intended victim escaped injury. Ricardo Sutherland is on the run. Christopher Armstrong, otherwise called Shabba, is wanted in connection to a murder committed on September 15, 2017 and wounding with intent on Bay Farm Road, Kingston 11. He is 6 feet tall, about 30 years old, slim build with a bleach brown complexion, big eyes and mouth, and walks and talks strangely. Christopher Shabba Armstrong is known to frequent Riverton City, New Haven, Waterhouse, Whitehall Avenue, Macatree District, Browns Hall, St. Catherine, and Westmoreland.
Your greatest weapon against criminals is your mind. Use it against them. Safety tips are next.
Safety Tips, sponsored by Guardsman.
Some of the signs that we need to look for as family members around an individual is those changes in the personality, those changes in habits. And one of the big ones as you get on to the harder things is when you are constantly in need of money. You have an insatiable appetite for money because it goes. That buzz, as fast as it wears off, you're buying another one. So therefore, those of us who have family members who may be on the edge, or family members who are users, we have to look at it because it's a downhill slide. There is no uphill to it. It's all downhill. And we have to take the actions earlier. When you become heavily addicted, it's harder to get you off. When you are just a social user, you can be taken off and recover. There are many people who are introduced to drugs without them even knowing that they have done it. Whether you go to a nightclub and you leave your drink carelessly, or you sit at a bar and you turn your back to a drink for two minutes. Get into the habit of ensuring that you protect yourself. Eat nothing, drink nothing from strangers. And when you don't know where your drink has been or who has been hovering over your drink at a nightclub or a bar, leave it alone, get another one, because you don't know what you may be introduced to. Drugs play a significant role and have a cost to the society because people who become abusers of drugs cost the society, be it in the treatment, be it in rehab, be it just becoming a street person. We have to do what we have to do as family members to ensure that we help those who are going down the wrong path. Look for those telltales, take the action that is necessary. Get them into the rehab centers, get them into therapy, get them off the drugs.
The use and legalization of drugs like ganja is one of the hottest topics of discussion in Jamaica and around the world. But before we rush to reap the rewards, let us never lose sight of the trade-off.
Drugs have the power to heal and more so to destroy. We have so many examples of this right in front of us. What price are we willing to pay?
I am Deidre Dixon.
And I'm Leroy Hall. Join us next week for our season finale.